And not as in coffee, as in like caffeinated, coughing. There you go. It's great to have all of you here. I do want to talk about an excerpt from You Too Can Be Prosperous. I've been guided to just grab that book today. And more importantly, have been guided to, I guess, open the floor for conversation this morning first, and ask how all of you are feeling after yesterday, and the awareness that you can have a conversation with the energy of your profession or the energy of your business, and asking your business what it wants to create and manifest. And so I will I'll volunteer myself first and share. My experience was mind blowing, because the number, because I specifically asked about revenue, and my number was way more, like way more. I separated it from each business, right? So I have Ignite Your Success coaching and consulting, which this is part of. And then I have the Clarity Confidence Connection. And then I have a new business launching here shortly called the Sacred Art of Business Academy. And that's a place where coaches, consultants, authors, healers can offer, if they have a gift, a lead gen strategy that they'd like to allow me to borrow and promote them, and then a place where I'll bring students in. So that's why it's called an academy. And so I only did one business yesterday and found myself in a little bit of awe, and then had a little bit of fear come up. And then I settled into what was being shared with me. And I'm still kind of in that process of contemplation and processing. So I thought I would start the share to make it easier for those of you who want to share. And so does anyone want to volunteer first, or shall I just go through and ask? So if I have a volunteer in the next 5 seconds, then
Sure.
thank you.
I got caught in the how-tos.
Mhm. Right.
Like, sure, this sounds awesome. It was overwhelming what my business would like to generate, and some of the ways that I did get a glimpse of as to how, but then it was like, okay, but how do I get there? And it was the getting stuck in the how-tos that brought up, is fear the right word? No. Hesitation for sure is correct. And it's almost like the excitement was overwhelming, so I couldn't calm into allowing the steps to flow, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It does to me. That's like, you're saying it better than I did. Your words are resonating with me. Yeah, that's exactly, I would say exactly what happened with me yesterday. And I will talk about the later on in the afternoon how I was able to settle into the energy. Can anyone relate to that or resonate with that? And I saw you've got your camera on, thank you. So I saw that you were nodding your head. Anybody else want to either chat or certainly, yes, raise your hand for sure. Absolutely. And Diane, would you like to contribute and share?
Well, I 100% relate to Karen's words. Yes. I found myself in, I got one idea, one message, one thought, and then I went into the how-tos, and I ended up writing myself a partial program about that thing. And I found myself being a little disappointed because I, I I was looking for a list. I want to do this, do this, do this, do this. And I remember Karen saying, don't have an agenda, I just asked the question. So it was a very different place for me to be with my business. I had been talking to my business for quite some time. I slacked off and haven't been doing it for a few months. So this is like reintroducing, and maybe she's mad at me. I don't know. Maybe she's pouting at me, or I don't, whatever. But it was just very different. And I it's hard for me to put it all together, how I feel, what it means. I don't even really know yet.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you for the share. And would you like to share? Do you feel?
Sure. I don't know where I am. I also have several businesses. I did focus on one of my businesses, and there is one thing that I definitely have to do between now and Tuesday. So that was good. And you're right. It's really good to look at a business from the outside in, and not objectively or with an agenda, and not having any emotional attachment to it. So I know that I don't know. It's definitely helpful. I need practice.
Yeah. Well, it's a different way, right? To have that, conversation. So definitely, and especially looking at it, I've tossed around the idea and have done it where I'm like, and asking things like, well, what would my business like to create today? Like I've, limited it to like today, and what would my business like to share on, Facebook today? And so I've had those like mini steps before that, mic drop bomb moment yesterday of asking it from that perspective. And so I appreciate that. I have some extra thoughts, but does someone else want to speak? Tasha or Sherry or Bianca, I know that you don't own a business and you're new to the group, so officially welcome. Sorry, I don't think I've done that officially. I didn't want to embarrass you. So I don't know you well enough to know if that's okay. So, but Tasha, Sherry, Bianca, do you have anything else to share before?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that my mind was pretty much blown yesterday, and I sat down and wrote a whole page of notes after I asked my business what it wanted from me. And I think I'm very much a structure person.
Yeah.
And I think that my business realizes that, but I did come up with some sort of plan. So
yeah,
thank you very much for yesterday. It was great.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you, all of you, for being here, because it was a collective aha moment for sure. For sure. Sherry, I know that you're driving, so I'm not sure if you're able to chat or you want to. So I'm being
I can chat.
Yeah, thank you.
I would say that I have had this conversation some time ago with Deanne Riendo. And yeah, it's just a little bit for me. I would say it's sometimes the difficulty of differentiating between me, business, right? Like if I'm saying this is what I want or what my business wants, is that me, or so just playing that kind of game. But yeah, such a cool concept. So
yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that share. I think that when we first start to even explore that, and each one of us will feel it different. Like as a reflector, I don't have the same emotional response that a generator or manifesting generator has. Mine is a thought, a sense, a feeling. Will feel like a light bulb moment, and then I often need to use tools to help me, either body testing, like muscle testing, or using a pendulum of sorts or something like that to assist me. And I have to often, I find myself, don't have to, but I find myself having to, oh, there's that word again, having to. I find myself in a place where I need to ask specific questions. So and asking questions like, because I tend to think and ask really broad, open-ended questions, and that's great for the contemplation piece. I think what I hear everyone saying is we all came to that space where we asked the question, and then of course our brain, so our personality goes into, okay, that's all fine and dandy, because that's what mine did. This is great. And how the hell, and literally I thought, and how the hell do you, like, how the hell's that going to happen? Like, that was my, like, I love this number, and dot, dot, dot. And so I found myself yesterday then in the, okay, well, if this is what my business wants to manifest, and my brain can only wrap around X amount of dollars because it's reasonable and because I've been there before, and I did it at at a $47 product, and so I can use that past experience and bring that forward, bring the memory forward. And then what happens, of course, is with that past experience and with that past memory, there comes some lower vibration or piles of poo with that as well. And so I was really being shown how a new way of being is to let go of the past memory and ask for guidance on how to not bring my past into my present moment, to think about my now and picture my future as if it's happening now. And honestly, when I really sat with this yesterday, I realized how difficult that still is for me, the picturing of the now. When I go into a picturing, I realized yesterday I'm often bringing past memories into like my now, and so it was like, wow, if I could let that go, and I believe that I can, right? If I can let that go, then what would that look like, today? If I could wave my magic wand, what would that look like today? And so then I allowed myself to remind myself. So it was an allowance of myself to remind myself that I don't actually, my personality doesn't need to know how. I need my body to take inspired action. And what I need my intellect for is to remind myself of the importance of letting go of my past memories and staying in my present moment. That's what I require my conscious thoughts, my intellect, my intelligence. And where the personality is in supporting. So using my personality, my ego, my id, my I, to support my intelligence, my intellect, my brain pan. And oh, I see that that's a past memory. Let that go and sit in the present moment and send out the frequency of so this is how I envision that this mind, body, and soul energetically will work with what my business wants to create. So because my business is like, here's the visual that I receive is my business is like going, right, here's the frequency, and I'm not matching the frequency. So and so the business is clear. So who do I need to be to match that frequency? What do I need to envision or visualize, imagine, be grateful for? So for me, again, it would be bringing the universal laws in and aligning, right, that together with what my business is asking. to create. So using BrainPen to go, okay, stop, Ranchelle. That's a past memory, right? And so it was awesome for me to even realize that when I made the statement last year about where I wanted my business to be, it was based in the knowledge that I could do it because I had done that before. And so our memories are kind of insidious because with that, that's like, yeah, I can do that. And then the little pieces of, yeah, but remember what happened last time. And, we're unconsciously there. They were not consciously there. And so what an amazing opportunity we have to then use our intellect to say, okay, I don't actually have to figure out how today, right? The whole plan, what I required, or being encouraged, not required, being encouraged to do is to, what's the step today? So the tools that I had beforehand, which was like, what would you like to create today, manifest today, inspired action today, right? Then show me that, tell me that. Sherry, absolutely, you can make a comment. Thank you. Yeah, anytime.
Thank you. It's just I'm moving. So yeah, I wanted to expand now on what I was saying about separating the me from the business.
Yeah.
And what I was contemplating around this was, it's just like a lot of the stuff that we work on, like we'll have different terms for things. So like in trilotherapy, it's the head, the heart, the center. Some of the other work I would do would be the saboteurs, the monkey mind, whatever you want to call that ego. And so then I got to thinking, it's, again, is it just easier to get, I'll just call it that shit out of the way when I'm asking my business? So this sounds kind of weird, but like, is that actually still me? But because I'm asking my business what it wants, or my business how much it wants to make, I'm taking that away from me, thus easier for my head to be quiet because it's not me, it's my business. Does that make sense?
It
Do you know what
does
I'm
make
saying?
sense. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would share that if that's everyone, I think, will have our own experience. So if that resonates with you, then that would be a hell yes, right? For sure, right? And if that's not the truth of the capital T, you'll be shown that, right? You'll be shown the truth of that, for sure, for sure.
And it was interesting too, I would say that if which I thought was just curious, again, just curious about it. If I was thinking in terms of money, that seemed to be quite clearer.
Yeah.
And then other stuff would be not as clear. So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why does money just seem to be so clear if I'm asking my business, and then other things no? So anyway, it's just something for me to be curious about.
Yeah, right. And the possibilities, right? That's what's so amazing about our experiences, is that they're ours, right? And we have a tendency to all of us do, right? Is to like, is this correct? And that's why I'm like, if it feels correct for you, then it is in this moment. Right? If it feels correct for you, then it is in this moment. And if it's not correct for you, then you'll be shown that it's not correct for you when it's time. And that doesn't mean, so let me be clear, that doesn't mean we don't kind of check in and have conversation like this, but it's like, oh, I'm in awareness of this thing, because I think we all have an interpretation for ourselves as to what happened for us personally yesterday, which may have some similarities to it, but not the same, right? And it's allowing ourselves each one of us to have our own, well, yeah, have our own experience within that. Karen, I feel like that there's something that important for you to share.
Yeah, thanks. I really wanted to, which you did. So you probably, I don't know if you just picked it up from me or not, but the past and present being in memories, because I think like we had that conversation, and I don't think people recognize just how many hours a day they are in memory. Energetically, on a cellular level, and then with the conscious thoughts as well. So it's really, I'm finding for myself that it's becoming really important for me to differentiate on a regular basis where I'm functioning from. So when Ranchelle and I were talking, I recognized that when I'm working with my business and I'm doing social media posts and that, I'm 80% in the past. I'm 80% in memories, which is affecting my clarity. But when I'm on my show, I'm 90% present. And I speak different in my show than I do anywhere else. And I'm also very present here, which is why I speak different here than I do in other places. So that's really key. And being in memory is not a bad thing. We're programmed to do it. That's how we function. But we can consciously choose to shift it.
Right.
And then the other thing is, Sherry, when you were asking about, how to having clarity, checking into your business and being with your business. And Anne, when you say you've got multiple businesses, as you do, Ranchelle, there's one of the things I do is I hold my business in my hands. So if you're a tactile person, if you like feeling things, then ask for your business. And if your business has a name, okay, so mine's Stress Recovery Solutions, and I ask for it to be shown to me and for me to hold the energy in my hands. And this may be weird for some of you, and I'm happy to chat with you later if you want. But then I pause and I feel my business land in my hands. And then I talk to the energy in my hands. So it helps my mind because I have a focal point to look at for something that's intangible. That makes sense?
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. So I can look at it. I can ask, what does it look like? What does it feel like? To get to know the business. What colors does it have? What's its texture? Is it sharp? Is it smooth? Is it moving? How is it moving? And all of these things to get a sense of what the business feels like, in air quotes for those listening later, what is that sense for me and what am I working with? And then when I'm asking questions and staying aware, staying present with the business, when you get a little more skilled with it, you can feel the energy in the business change.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask those questions again. So the color was navy blue. Oh, what color is it now? And all these, and that will also, it will help you build your trust in talking to your businesses, and do it for each one separately. And prior to doing it, whatever works for you, use a tool to bring yourself present. And when a memory comes in, like that old meditation trick that they say, thank you, got it. I don't need this right now. And then center again.
Yeah, beautiful.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, I love that. Thank you. I appreciate the I appreciate the conversation really with all of you. Today I was guided to this is more of a right. We extended yesterday and then I knew today that because of the mic drop and bomb that this was to be a place of exploration today.
Ranchelle, may I answer Sherry's question? She wrote one here.
Yeah, please do.
How are you in memory when posting in social as opposed to your show? I didn't know I was until I had my conversation with Ranchelle and this whole topic came up, Sherry. And then I checked in, I asked. And so the information I've been posting on social media was highly influenced on my memories as to who I felt I should be and fear of judgment as to what I was willing to say. So I was letting previous way of Karen thinking and functioning flow into the words that I was allowing myself to share or expose with others. And I would remember now going back and reading them again and thinking, oh, is this offensive? Is this going to upset anybody? And I went into all my old programming of being the Karen that needed to not cause any shame or disappointment for my family. Not that anyone in my family would read any of my posts, but that was irrelevant.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then when I go into my show, I do a different prep. I do an entity clearing, I do a visualization, and I do a centering that's all wrapped up in together as one. And I am very present, and then I allow myself to tune in to anyone who is listening live and allow that as part of the guidance in my show. So I have no worries, no qualms, no nothing about any of my previous ways of thinking or being. I am so in the moment, and the freedom that gives me is phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. Contemplate that one. Another mic drop moment provided by Karen. Love it. Yeah. And so yesterday when I was thinking about okay, so the first thing that I asked when I went to, okay, how am I going to do that, was to ask myself, or ask my business, pardon me, do I actually know what to do? Like, do I, right? And the answer was yes. And so meaning that, right, I know what to do, but my ego, my id is like, I don't know what to do, kind of like that. And that's the stopping point for Rad Shell, right? I'm not smart enough to figure this out. Well, what if I was smart enough to figure this out? And I'm not, and it's little things. I'm not technical enough to like figure this out. Well, what if I was technical enough? Or what if I decided I could be technical for an hour? Right. And just, playing, making it fun, making it light. And so what came up for me was to create, and this is so funny because I talk about, yes, strategies and structure is important, and mindset, though it needs to, often we need to work with our mindset. It's not one or the other, but it's both. And so I was, again, this isn't the first time I heard this in the last probably 3 weeks, was that I needed to create structure, that I really was to ensure that I stayed in a CEO position. I looked at my business from that level, and I created more systems and structure in it. And so then yesterday, I just had this idea of just had some thoughts. And so I have this mind mapping tool, free tool that I have on my phone. I was in the hot tub. And then I created some structure systems, in that. And so, and Karen has in the chat, right? One of the statements I use for myself is I easily and naturally let go of old identities. So for those of you who are listening afterwards, and Sherry just had a download. How about asking your business, how can I serve you more or better? Yes. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's really about having this conversation. So not having past memories, having the conversation. Karen, you wanted to add something?
Sorry, I just have a real problem with serve. How about
Yeah.
contribute to your business?
Contribute. Yeah.
Service, servitude, and you don't want to be in servitude to your business. Your business isn't running you. Your business isn't commanding what you need to do. You want to be working together in an equal partnership. So how can you contribute to your business? What can you offer to your business? What would make your business happy, profitable, and functioning with ease?
Happy, profitable, and functioning with ease. I'll have some more of that, please. Right? And this is the importance of our words, right? And we think, and we will adapt and adopt different verbiage for sure. And the importance of being in awareness. So we can continue the conversation. I wanted to share something with you. I wanted to share an experience with you that I had last night, which there is a connection to our conversation. We have a Sylvan Lake. It's a beautiful resort lake just outside of Red Deer, and we have a ball team called the Sylvan Lake Gulls. and they're part of the Major League Baseball team. So it's not a farm team, and maybe it's the minor team or one below that. I don't know all the levels of baseball, but it's people who want to get into the major leagues. It's part of their system. And we decided to go to a ball game yesterday. We were sitting in, it's called the grassy knoll section, and so we're really high up. It's a small field, but high up, and we were on the first baseline, and we had these lawn chairs, and this couple sat beside Rob and I, and Rob actually, at the time we didn't know we were doing that, so I was sitting in the grass. Rob went to go buy lawn chairs, and so I'm having this conversation, and this couple is originally from Tofield, which is near Camrose, which is where I used to live. So of course, just striking up conversation, and then Joe asked where I was from. I said, I live in Red Deer. He goes, oh yeah, Red Deer is so beautiful. And I said, it is. And I said, the only challenge we're having right now, and I went into our addict homeless problem that we have here, and just talked about some of the challenges that we're facing. And so this gentleman's name was Dave, and he said, he was joking around, and he said, geez, and here I was just trying to strike up conversation about how great Red Deer is. And I looked at him, and I stopped, and I said to him, oh my God, I am so sorry. You are absolutely correct. Red Deer is a great place. What do you like about Red Deer? And then change the conversation. And then I thanked him, this complete stranger. I said to him, I just want to thank you. I said, because I actually teach right? Mindset, and how important it is to have a positive attitude, and your thoughts create things, and everything happens for you and nothing happens to you. And I said, and I'm you are this beautiful mirror for me to remind me to be in awareness. The only thing I have control over are my thoughts. And I said, and you so beautifully showed me that I have a pile of shit around Red Deer. And I said, I just want to thank you so very much. And I said, it's such you are just a gift from God. Thank you. And he paused, and he looked at me, and he started to smile, and he goes, well, I'm happy to contribute. And then his wife said, you're amazing. She said, because you know how many people would maybe be in awareness of that, but would not speak their truth. And then I said to her, oh, and I said, and another gift, I said, because I have been guided to refer to myself as the truth seeker and the truth speaker. And I've been really hesitant to use those words for fear of judgment. And she said, oh, that totally suits you. She said, that is you. She said, we're complete strangers. You could have went on your day and went, oh, note to self. And she said, but she said, you just fully embraced what you shared with us, and how you could see yourself showing up differently, or something like that. That was my interpretation. And I spent the rest of the night being in gratitude of how, being shown such a beautiful gift, because I'm struggling living in Red Deer, right? I don't want to be in Red Deer. And so it won't get better if I have an attitude of talking about the shit, right? It won't get better for me. It won't bring me more joy if I focus on the homeless addict problem that we have, that everyone in the collective in my community is focusing on. The key for me was no guilt or shame. I wasn't judging myself for having the thought. I was loving myself for having the thought. Loving myself for having the thought. And as a reflector in human design, my role on my purpose on earth is to reflect back to my community. And so, part of talking about the lower density energy stuff is, this is where my community's at. I also know that each one of us, so not just myself, but each one of us is connected to divine source energy. And one person can lift a community, the energy of a community. That's how powerful we are. So I'm grateful as a reflector that my community is reflecting this, and my community is in pain, and I understand that. And I'm grateful because I understand how powerful I am in the connection to divine source energy. And by sending out love and gratitude to my community and thinking about what part of my community do I want to explore, what part of my community do I love, I then can share the message of love and gratitude in my community. And so I think this is so tied to what we've been talking about, is if we just robotically go through our day, right? We just say the things we normally say, do the things we normally do. We aren't in our present. This goes back to being guided, goes back to our present moment. What would it be like for you? So there's the question from your guides. What would it be like for you to, like, literally every moment today live in the present moment? Like every moment, what would you feel right now? What would you hear? Right? So for me right now, I can feel the love and the gratitude. Behind me, my window's open, so I'm hearing the breeze and the birds chirping in the background. Right? It's not a memory. It's like this is the exact moment of what I'm feeling and hearing. I can hear in this present moment, my voice is a little scratchy, right? I can feel in this present moment that my sinuses are a little bit plugged, right? So that's some great, you just press here, your sinuses will drain. Right? I can almost hear Rob snoring next door, right? The energy of him. What would it be like for all of us if we just lived like every day, every moment of the day, right? My ego is telling me that would be hard, but is it? Right? Is it? I don't know, right? I won't know until I fully in my present moment, And what came to me is, when I argue with someone or feel hurt, right? Karen, you said the same thing, or hurt, right? Hurt feelings. I am not in my present moment. I'm in my past memories, right? I'm in my past memories. My core wounds and core fears are showing up. Very, very clear for me that if I'm hurt, right? If I'm like, I have an owie, right? I'm in my past memories, bringing those memories into my present for protection, for survival. And I logically understand it. I get it, right? Yeah. Oh, Diane, that's awesome. I've been practicing being in the present moment, but then I don't get things done. What would it be like for you if you could be in the present moment and take inspired action? Is there a part of you, because a part of me, as I was reading that, believes that if I'm being, I must be like that monk, right? That sitting, right? And as you shared that, I was like, what if I could be in the present moment? Here's what just came to me. I'm doing dishes. I don't know about you, all of you, but when I'm doing dishes, I'm so not in the present moment. I'm just trying to get dishes done, right? So dishes are kind of the thing that I feel like I have to do, right? I'm just getting them done, and there's always something. I'm listening to a podcast, or right. What would it be like if I could be in my present moment and be present doing dishes, feeling the water on my hands, feeling the soap suds in my hands, listening to the noises in my house, the creaks of the house, right? I'm even like seeing the dust on the windows, right? Because we had a storm. What would that be like for all of us if we could do that, right? Yeah, I love that. And then Sherry, the trigger is a gift, but when you are there for more than 10 seconds, you are in self-sabotage. I'm not sure what you mean. Would you be willing to expand on that?
Yeah, sure. What I mean is, so in terms of, if something triggers us,
Yeah.
right? That trigger is a gift. That's oh, something's there for me.
Yeah.
What is that? So that's a gift.
Yeah.
But the minute that we're in there, like, what was that? And why did they say that? And then why did I say that? And
Right.
then oh gosh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh my God. When we're into that, now we're in total self-sabotage.
Yeah.
But the trigger itself
Trigger itself is beautiful.
is a beautiful gift,
Yeah.
right? And so I always try to cancel. I choose now to when I'm triggered, do the oh yay. Okay, I'm triggered. Right? So here's another beautiful gift and opportunity, right?
Right, absolutely. Even and using that sometimes as the mirror, right? Meaning, like I shared with Rob yesterday, where we were having a conversation in the ball field, and it was a little heated, and I said to him, I don't feel like I'm important to you, because he was saying to me, you feel really short with me the last 5 days. And I said, yeah, and I have been. I said, I apologize. I am. I said, I don't feel like I'm super important in your life. And I said, and the thing is, logically, I understand that. Like, his business is number one, and in all transparency, my business is number one. And more so, I mean, I can lighten it and say it's my mission and purpose, but whether I call it my business or my mission and purpose is number one. And then Rob's son, Leo, I call him my son as well. I don't even refer to him any longer as my stepson, is an amateur fighter. We all know that he will go into professional fighting. We all expect him to be at UFC or Bellator or some of that like higher level. And so Rob is his, of course, the manager of his career. And Leo's career is number two in Rob's life. And there's no way around that. Like, and so then it's three, right? Then it's us. And so it triggers me past memories of my family, of my parents, right? My mom and dad's relationship was number one. My dad's sobriety was number two. My mom and dad's business was number three. Their AA and Al-Anon friends was number four. This is how I felt. And then my sister and I were like number five. And my sister and I felt in the past up until now, cancel, delete, all of that. So I'm telling you and sharing a story. I am not in my story. And so that's how we felt. So it's a trigger for me. Now, what the importance why I'm sharing this story with you is that this can be a mirror for us, right? When we're triggered. So what came to me last night as I was sitting and with him after I shared that, and Rob said, "But what do you want me to do?" And I said, "There's nothing for you to do. It's not wrong. It's not broken. I'm sharing with you how I feel. And so you have nothing to do. I have work. I have an opportunity for growth, because it triggers my core wounds and core fears of not being good enough, not being lovable, a fear of rejection, and a fear of abandonment." And so then late last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went, oh, there's another opportunity of growth for me, because that is my own personal value trigger. He's reflecting back to me that perhaps maybe I still have an opportunity of growth to value myself, to honor myself, to trust myself, to have self-worthiness, versus my worthiness is dependent upon my clients, my parents, right? And it's come up a couple times with my mom. It could be simple things. I'm only sharing these because for opportunity for you to look at some of the things that maybe you might be taking personal. A quick example, my sister, I have an older sister that I did not know when I was being raised at home. My older sister is the daughter of my mom and dad. And my mom gave her up. My mom and dad gave her up for adoption, and then got married, had myself and my sister. So my younger sister. So there's three of us. I grew up with thinking there was two of us. My older sister lives in shoe swaps now, and she is a yoga teacher, and she's doing a retreat, and so she teaches yoga online. And so she was talking about her yoga the other day. And my mom said on the post, "Can you make this shareable so I can share?" And so she did that. And in about a half an hour, I started to get agitated. And I was like, just what's going on? And so what I realized, because I sat with the agitation, where is this coming from? So for me, if I don't feel peaceful or feel serenity or zen or passion or joy is something that's not a word that I resonate with. But for me, it's more peace. If I'm not at peace, I know that there's an opportunity for me of exploration. So it's kind of like, am I in an empowered state or I'm in a primal state? I'm either working from a place of consciousness, like connected to divine, or I'm working from my amygdala, my brain, my fear-based brain. And what I realized was I went into comparison. My mother has not once shared anything that I've done since her and I were in business together. So I've, I do summits all the time. I do retreats all the time. I've been doing retreats for 5 years, right? And my mom has not once shared it. And so what I realized was that I went into a past memory in comparison, but it was attached to the memory of, I'm not important enough to my mom and dad, but my sister, right, is more important, which may or may not be true. I wouldn't say that it's not true. I wouldn't say it is true. And so I went into this comparison piece, which was a low grade, really, really insidious, low grade pain. Right. But I noted that I was irritated. And what irritated me was that I was in the bath in the laundry room, and there was dust bunnies all over, right? And I got irritated by, can anyone else pick up the fucking dust bunny? And I thought, oh, it's not about the dust bunny, right? It's never about the thing. Problem's not the problem. And so how often do we do this? So that's I think the purpose of the conversation, the share, is we have opportunities of mirrors all the time. And if we stay in our present moment, we can really tap into the connection to divine source energy. So whether that's through your body, through your intuition, or through your mind, or through your soul, whatever that looks like for you, to what is the opportunity in this? So I didn't ask why I was irritated, but I asked to be shown what's the truth behind the irritation, because it's not about the dust bunny. What is the truth behind the irritation? And it was like, oh, I went into comparison. What I do isn't as important. If my mom really loved me or respected me, or all the, all my piles of shit around my mom, that I often think, oh, yay, I got this. I'm finally through it. These little joyful pieces come up for me. And I say joyful because I could be in resentment of it. I could be of guilt or shame around it. Right? I'm a coach. I shouldn't have this. And I just embrace it and go, man, this is so cool. This is so cool that it's insidious. And the insidiousness is so this is, I guess, the last share for the day, is being attached to, when we go into how am I going to do this? That's a insidious nature coming up. There's a lower density energy that's attached to that. Not for all of you, right? Because but when you go into how, and you have judgment, or you start to spin. If your how creates confusion, that's what I'm talking about. You might ask how and then come up with a 5-point plan, right? When I asked yesterday how, I was like, well, you need to redo the copy on your website. And I was like, I just did the copy on my website like 6 months ago. I was like, yeah, and it no longer reflects who you are. Okay, so that's what I did yesterday, right? I revamped the copy of my website using ChatGPT, by the way. I'm just saying. See, I thought we were going to talk about chat today, but I was guided to not do that. Other than that, talking about that. All right, a long conversation today. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with us. So much appreciate everything, your contributions. Perfect. And Sherry, I'm just going to read this for the comments for the group that's listening to this afterwards. She said that, yes, my hubby and I get there too. I tell him there's nothing for him to do. I'm just sharing and asking that you just hear and hold space for me, right? Absolutely. And I clean when I'm feeling an old wound, right? Thanks, everyone, for your presence. It is so much. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. Love all of you. Bye.